Okay, so a couple of days ago, I posted a video on my feelings on Diablo 4 and the state of the game currently in Season 9. I did not know that that game, or that video rather, was going to get as many views as it did and as many comments as it did. There are a few things that I want to touch on just because I don't want to give the wrong impression. And I also don't want people to think that I am just a Diablo hater without understanding where I come from, without understanding the rest of my channel. Maybe that was their first video of, what I had to say about Diablo, and they didn't see the other seasons that I've played and the other times that I have praised the game, right? And as I did in the last video, I know that I'm going to kind of be pausing and not as concise as my normal content because I'm literally playing in real time. This is me spinning in circles. I'm playing in real time as I'm discussing this. I'm going to start with my biggest issue with Diablo 4 Season 9, but Diablo 4 as a whole. For a long time now, I have asked for balance. For a long time now, not just on YouTube. I have literally gone out of my way to talk to other large people in the industry, large developers in the industry, in the Diablo 4 division of Blizzard. I have gone out of my way to attempt to tell them the issues that I have with the game, and not because I feel like they're going to listen to me, because again, I'm a nobody, but because I care about this franchise and I care about Diablo as a whole. I care about Diablo 4 as a whole. I went on about what I did not like about the game. I explained in my last video that there are some things I don't agree with, and there are some things that I'm happy with. And it was a mixed bag in terms of comments. Some people telling me they agree with me, and other people calling me a terrible elitist. I won't even use some of the words. But that I'm an elitist, I'm in the top 10% of players, and that my values don't align with theirs because I am in that top 10%. Let me make something painfully clear to you. I am not an elitist. I am not good at this game. I am not on the same level as Raxx. I didn't know who Raxx was actually until after I posted my video. Somebody commented that my ideals actually matched up quite well with Raxx's. And after, I think it was 2 days later or 3 days after I posted the video, I got that comment, and I went and watched Raxx's video, which if you have not seen it, I will leave it in the description as well. I will also put it up on screen here. He was very passionate in this video, just like I was mine. And we do have a lot of the same ideals, and we do have a lot of the same issues with the game. We agree on some things. We actually agreed that Overpower is also a great nerf. But I will not ever put myself in the same caliber, in the same group as Raxx or Frosty or Rob or Darth. I am not as good of a player as them, and I will never claim to be. I'm not top 10. I've watched Rob play, and I've watched him literally hop through dungeons like a bunny rabbit on speed, okay? Like, it's insane to watch them, as great as they are at games like this, thrive. I am not that person. I am not a top 10 percenter. I am not an elite gamer in Diablo 4. If I were to consider myself elite in anything, it's World of Warcraft. I would never consider myself an elitist in terms of, and maybe I'm misunderstanding that term, if anyone could explain it to me, just because it got thrown in with the words top 10% of Diablo players, like I don't ever want to be held to that standard. I make it very painfully clear, if you've watched my live streams, if you've watched any of my gameplay, I'm not great, okay? I am not great at Diablo. I run one of the builds that I love. I actually have, you know what, while I'm actually like just sitting here while I'm talking, I'll show you my favorite build in this entire game that I run, even though I know I'm not going to push high pit tiers, okay? I know that I'm not putting out evade spirit board damage, okay? I know that. I don't play meta, quote-unquote, builds. The build that I'm running right now is actually Rain of Arrows, and I'm not even building it properly because I know at the end of the day that I'm not a min-max specialist, okay? Like, am I trying to do my best? Absolutely. But like this right here, missing items will not be equipped. What's missing? Did I get rid of my ring? Oh, what a silly Bo Billy. It's okay. That's fine. But we're gonna just toss all this stuff away for now. This right here is my absolute favorite build in Diablo 4 in Season 9, and I got all through Season 8 with it. Dance of Knives is the most fun I have ever had on a rogue. This, right now, actually, let's double check what it is. Let's go to max roll. Max roll. And let's go to rogue end game. Actually, no, let's go to tier lists, right? We'll go to tier lists and we'll go to end game and push builds. Where is Dance of Knives rogue? It is in D tier. I'll put this on the screen for you. This is this build that I love so much that I will die on the hill, that this build is so much fun. I don't even have all my paragons in it yet because I swapped to Rain of Arrows. But like, let me just let's do a little elitist test here. I love this build. It's not meta. I don't like playing a bunch of meta builds. I like playing what's fun. And that's the thing about Diablo and about my last video as well. I'm not sitting here telling you that you have to play a specific class and you have to play this specific build and you have to, you know, blah, 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 blah. That's the only way that this game is fun. And I'm not going to die on that hill because that's not the hill that I live on. Okay? I don't live on the meta is best hill. I live on the play whatever the hell is fun hill. Okay? That's where I live. I don't think I'm getting tier 35. Let's do 30 because I'm nervous. But I'm going to show you an example of just me playing a build that is not meta, my favorite build in this entire game, and that I am not top 10%, okay? And this is not like, again, I'm not saying that this, you know, proves anything, but look at my damage. Look at this. Okay? Look, like I just ran out of spin to win. I'm not even spinning to win, which is the main thing in this build because I ran out of it because I'm not doing enough damage to kill this stuff fast enough. This is tier 30 with this build. Now, if I came back in here on my Rain of Arrows, absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. And I died. As I wasn't paying attention to my health. Now, we're just going to leave. I'm going to swap, you know, builds back, whatever. My point is that I don't play meta builds, okay? I am not here to play a build that, you know, this is S tier, this is all I'm running, everything else sucks if you don't play S tier, this game sucks if you play anything but this, you're terrible. I'm not going to die on that hill. That is just kind of my point. And that's all I'm going to touch on in terms of the whole top 10%, I'm an elitist talk. I don't take comments like that to heart in a negative way, I'll be honest. I actually take all of my comments in the most positive way possible, and I try to take everything with a grain of salt. But I also listen and read all of the comments. If you look through that entire video, and I think it has like 4,000 views now, but it's got a lot of comments. If you look through all of the comments, I have either liked or responded, basically. Like, I've liked every one of them, I think, now. But I respond to all of my comments on all of my videos. And that's not just this one, it's every video. I do my best to respond to every person. And that's because my channel is small. I, you know, don't have a huge following. And I'm okay with that because the bigger you get, the more you get criticism. And I'm just here to have fun and help people. The point of my entire channel that I created a few years back was to help people with video game guides. And then I started having opinions on stuff, right? I've been playing these games for a long time. You know, not to give my age away, but I have been playing these games for a long time. I've been playing Blizzard games for as long as I can remember. And all of them to me mean something, including World of Warcraft, including Blizzard, you know, or what? No. What? Including World of Warcraft, including Diablo, including Overwatch. These are all games that I play. These opinions didn't just fall out of the sky. It wasn't just, you know, I saw someone talking smack about Diablo, so I jumped on the poop on Diablo train. I will give credit where credit is due. And that is also what I want to touch on here. So outside of the negativity or being called an elitist or being told that I am the top 10%, which I thank you for the compliment, but I'm not. One day would I love to be great at this game? Absolutely. But for now, I'm just a normal player that has some issues with the state of the game as it stands right now. And those things can be fixed. Those things can be changed. The game is not fun currently to me in a lot of ways, but here are my favorite things about Diablo 4 Season 9, since I did explain all of the negative and I never explained all of the positive. And there are always two sides to a coin, and it is not fair to the developers or to any of you to only show the negative side of Diablo 4 Season 9. So let's talk about my favorite things. Number freaking one. Look at these right here. These, oh, my mouse got stuck. These legendary escalation dungeons, okay? These are my favorite thing about Season 9. I think these are a lot of fun, being able to go in, do the dungeon, clear it out, knock it out, boom, next one. Right? Sorry, I snapped. Boom, next one. That to me is a lot of fun. I love you go in and the, different affixes that get thrown at you along the way, the positives, the negatives, that to me is fun. And you're able to attempt to find Astaroth's lair inside of these escalating nightmares, right? And that's cool. You get through one and you're like, is it going to be? And then you don't get a fourth, right? So you didn't get it. That's cool to me. I like this. This is something that I enjoy doing and that I found very fun in terms of, on my rogue at least. Obviously, I have a Spiritborn, I have a Sorcerer, I have another rogue on another account. But on this particular rogue, I played a lot of, the seasonal content, the pit. I was trying to give the game a chance. If you saw any of my live streams, you'll know what I'm referring to. But after my video and after the criticism that I received, I came back and I played. And I got all the way past, level 60, got to T1, got to T2. I'm still on the way to T3 and 4 on this character. But I started a fresh character on live, played it all the way up until level 60, played it all the way up until, I think, 50 Paragon, I want to say. And then I logged off for the night and, played a little bit in my free time over the past couple of days. Now, that was because, again, I got those critiques. Like, you're not giving this a chance. What about this? What did you not like about this in Season 9? Did you even try it? Did you? And I thought, okay, I did try it, but let's go back and show people that I am, while live, actually playing this game and not just saying I have, hours and hours into it, or that I'm not, putting my money where my mouth is, basically. So that is one thing that I really like. Now, another thing that I really like is I opened the wrong thing, is the jewels, the crafting of the new Heraldric jewels, okay? I absolutely like that. I like that you have the opportunity to find the recipes to craft those new gems. I like that. I like that. That adds a layer of depth. That adds something for me to look for. And to get my BIS, my BIS, right? My best in slot. I went to fire. Oops. Whoop. Then, anyway, I went to the wrong spot. That gives me something to look forward to find, to loot. It does give me like, oh, I got the recipe. Oh shit. It gives me that little bit of dopamine that I'm missing from a lot of the other endgame content. Okay. Now I don't have a lot of these on here. But these are the ones that I have. I think this is neat. I like this. I like this feature. I like what they have to offer. All of them give that 6% resistance to all elements, which is awesome sauce. And then obviously my BIS for my neck is Elemental Brand. And, you put it into your jewelry pieces. I like that. It adds another layer of depth. You're not just, stuck using these 6% to all elements. You also get something on top of that inside of your jewelry. That to me is awesome. And plus 120 armor when mine's at 598 on T2. I will take that. Thank you. So that I like. Now, again, while there are a lot of things that I dislike about Diablo 4 Season 9, those are some particular things that I enjoy. The issue that I have, and I don't know if I made this clear, in my last video, because a lot of people were like, what are you talking about? You make no sense. Or this, what you're saying is not true. What you're saying doesn't make any sense. I can't even listen to your babbling comments. You're part of the problem. I will never say that I, am a diehard. I will die for this game. I am the biggest Diablo 4 fan, and I, will do anything to play this game. I play it all day, every day. No, I don't. I don't play it all day, every day. I'm not a casual player, but I'm also not an elite player, and I'm not a top 10% player, and I'm not. And again, if someone could maybe explain what that means to me, like an elitist, or, maybe I'm misunderstanding what people mean by that, and that's okay too. I've never been called that, so I don't, fully grasp it maybe. But I'm not that player. I'm just not. But anyway, my point was that I am not going to sit here and tell you that I am, a never-ending Diablo 4 fan. This is all I play. This is where my life goes. I've sunk my entire life into this game, because I haven't. I have sunk a lot of my life into this game. Absolutely. Same with World of Warcraft. Same with plenty of other games that, Terraria, for God's sakes. I have sunk my life into a lot of games. That doesn't mean that I can't have an opinion on the state of the game just because I am not a diehard S tier, whatever you want to call me. That doesn't mean that I can't have an opinion on the game. Another big thing for me was, I do understand that a lot of my takes might not be easy to digest or understand because of how I talk, and maybe I don't describe things the best way that I can, right? And that's okay too. But let me make something, I guess, a little more clear as to what I don't like about Diablo 4 Season 9. When I say the dopamine is not there, I mean that I have not gotten a lot of mythics to drop at all. Okay, and I'm only on T2 on this account, so don't even listen to for this rogue. This rogue, pay no attention to the rogue in the back, okay? But on my other characters as well, who are on T3 and T4, I have yet to get any of that to drop. And maybe I just have really poopy luck, and that's part of the game too, right? But that to me is like, give me one piece. Just give me peace. Like, give me one piece of, that elusive gear that I just cannot seem to get my hands on. Yes, I understand we're very early on into the season, but I got up there pretty quickly, and I started really pushing, late content pretty fast. Because at the time, that was all I was, doing right when it released, right? I was only sitting here and playing this game for hours upon hours upon hours upon hours. And, I will say that maybe I haven't played for 3, 4, 5 weeks. I do know that you have 3 months or so to, get the gear. This is not my first seasonal game. This is not my first go around in Diablo either. But I just, for some reason, when I get to endgame here, I get bored. Can I explain to you every single detail as to why I get bored? No, I can't. But I love getting to 60. I love that grind. I love getting the gear to get better and watching your character get to level 60 and get better and better and better and better until you get to T1, and then you're demolishing in T1. You're doing good, and then you get your ass kicked in T2, and then you get more gear and more gear and more gear, and then you finally you do better in T1, and then boom, all of a sudden you're in T3 and you're getting your ass kicked until you get better, right? So again, I do understand the fun of that. I really do. But the one thing that I just can't shake is the feeling of once I get to like Paragon 60, 70, I'm bored. I'm bored of literally just running the same boss, the same pit to get the, best gear for my character, which, like Beast in the Ice, I think dropped a couple of my pieces. If I remember correctly, a couple of them. I think there's like 2 or 3, right? I have Andy drops one of my pieces, Grigwar drops one of my pieces, and then Beast in the Ice drops one of my pieces, right? So I have to grind those 3 over and over and over and over and over and over to get the upgraded versions, the better versions, I have to keep doing that over and over. I can't just go and kill any boss that I want to, or run, do every single boss, do the whole ladder, right? And then come back and, start over. Or I can't just run nightmare dungeons, or, I can't branch out to get those exact pieces of gear 90% of the time without killing just that boss, right? That's the best way to get it. That's the best way to grind it. That's that's where it drops. And, if you want the higher tier piece of that gear, then you have to be killing it in T1, T2, T3, and T4, right? So that's another thing. Let me describe, a few other examples of what also bothers me. I don't like one-shot mechanics for every boss. Obviously that's a given with any RPG, ARPG, MMORPG, JRPG. There are bosses that one-tap you. Absolutely. But every single boss has one or three mechanics, and Dariel, I'm looking at you, mechanics that one-tap you? Absolutely the fuck not. Absolutely not. That's ridiculous. You should not have a toolkit with three things that if I accidentally touch it once, I die. That's ridiculous. I don't like that. Balancing needs a big tune-up. I do not believe that I should be doing billions of damage. Now, on this, or my previous spec, I'm not doing billions of damage. This spec, however, I do way more damage than I should. Bosses do way more damage than they should. I think this needs to be balanced entirely. I'm not saying nerf one spec. I am not saying nerf one class. I am saying the entire game as a whole needs to be balanced. We have to go and look over every single specialization, every single item, every single class, everything. Everything in this game needs to be looked at and fine-tuned to be balanced. I am not singling anybody out, which was another thing, is like, oh, you just want these classes to be, indestructible, and you want to do this blast damage. No, I don't. Actually, that's the opposite of what I want. I don't want that. That is not what I'm looking for here. But I will say that at the end of the day, I just want this game to be better. I love Diablo. I love Diablo 4 as a whole, right? Where it started and where we're at. I don't like where exactly it is now in terms of end game. Does that mean that I hate the entire game and the whole game sucks and I'm never playing it again? No. But it does mean that for now, as I said, I think it's time for me to just step away before I burn myself out entirely. And that's okay. That's okay too. I can make that choice. That does not make me a hater. That does not mean I'm bad-mouthing the developers or that I've lost faith in them. It just means I want them to see our pleas and hear our cries and do a little bit better. That's it. That is all I'm asking for. And, one other thing that I don't like is the boss fight vulnerability issue, the invulnerability rather, where a boss goes completely invincible for 3 to 5 seconds. And Dariel, I'm looking at you again. I don't like that. If I have a build, right, that's quote unquote meta, if that's what you want to call it. If I have a build that's supposed to melt shit, I should be able to go in and melt Andy, no problem, if that's what my build does. But to have, okay, now she's invulnerable, I gotta dodge, okay, there's more shit, oh god, okay, now there's a spinny thing, and now there's this, and like, if I can melt shit, I should be able to melt shit, right? That's the fun. If I can just deplete a boss's entire health bar, one mechanic where she goes up in the air and she drops some crazy shit, absolutely. But like 4 phases, my guy, that's a little much. That's a little much for me. But that's really all I have to say. In this, I wanted to share the positive things that I do like, which I understand was not vast or massive. But those are the things that I do enjoy. And I like my freaking rogue, man. I love my rogue. Favorite class so far. It's not S tier. Rogue isn't like considered S tier this season, I don't think. In terms of pit pushing rather and end game. And that's okay. But that's all I really wanted to say. I wanted to kind of get the rest of my thoughts out that I didn't really have a chance to say in the other video because I didn't want it to be an hour long. This one's already 25 minutes, which I wasn't attempting to do again, but here we are. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who commented and left productive feedback. 99% of those comments, by the way, was extremely nice and criticism, like valid criticism on my video and proving their point with facts and evidence and their own opinion. And thank you for that. There were some things that I touched on that people called me out on that was incorrect, and thank you. I appreciate that. I love comments, whether they're negative in terms of like agreeing with me, right? If they're disagreeing with me, that's okay too. I love all of your comments. And I love all of your feedback. I love all of the critiques and criticism. And that's what this is. It's a learning experience for all of us, including in games like this. I was wrong about something, and I can admit that. But I want to say thank you to everyone who comments, everyone who likes, everyone who subscribes. And I'm going to do my same thing that I do in every video and give my goodbyes. So as always, if you like the video, then like the video. And if you like my content in general, then please subscribe to my channel, because truly it means the absolute world to me. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.